All right, set to take a look at the challenger, former WBO middleweight champion Gerald McClellan. Like his opponent tonight, known for his knockout power. 25 of his 27 wins via the knockout route. 17 of his 27 victories by way of first-round knockout. In fact, he captured the WBO middleweight crown with a stunning first-round knockout of John the Beast Mugabe in '91. McClellan calls this the most important fight of his life, saying, "I won't be denied."
Here we go. Go ahead. Hey, you gotta go down on the side. Showtime. All right, let's go, baby. All right, Gerald, man. Right corner. Right corner.
Gerald McClellan, who has won his last 10 fights via knockout in the first 3 rounds, and claims that Julian Jackson was ducking him when he pulled out with the bad right hand in February. In fact, he was concerned that Jackson might pull out again just 2 weeks ago. And here is the WBC middleweight champion, Julian the Hawk Jackson, who has held the title since November of 1990. Tonight, the 5th defense for this knockout specialist from the U.S. Virgin Islands. Jackson has stopped 43 of his 47 opponents for a staggering 92% knockout ratio. 17 consecutive victories, 16 by knockout, overall 11 KOs in the first round.
Here we go. Let's go, Julian. Music. Where's the music?
Julian Jackson, a 2-1 favorite. He did not look overly impressive his last couple of fights, which included a decision over Thomas Tate. Is he on the decline? Is he feeling the effects of an 11-year ring career? Stay tuned.
You got to pull it off high.
Let's check the numbers. To the tail of the tape, McClellan at 25, 7 years younger than Jackson, a 2.5-inch height advantage for the challenger. McClellan an even 160, Jackson 159, and the 3.5-inch reach advantage for McClellan. To the rules, according to the WBC 10-point must system in effect, 3 scoring judges, no standing 8 count. There is no 3 knockdown rule here. Only the referee can stop the fight, and a fighter cannot be saved by the bell except in the last round. So here at the Thomas Mack Center in Las Vegas, Nevada, closing it on the first of our boxing triple header, the WBC Middleweight Championship. Julian Jackson and Gerald McClellan set for the official introductions. Let's go up to our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr. Set for the official introductions. Let's go up to our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you and welcome as the Mirage welcomes you to Las Vegas, Nevada. on King Productions and King Vision, in association with SET Pay-Per-View and The Mirage, present a big night of action, the Star Spangled Glory. This bout coming your way is one of our featured events, the first of our 3 world title bouts, as we present the WBC Middleweight Championship. This bout is sanctioned by the World Boxing Council, the president, Jose Suleiman, the supervisor at ringside, Eduardo Lamazon, along with the Nevada State Athletic Commission, the chairman, Dr. Elias Gana. Now presenting the judges as appointed at ringside, Dave Moretti, Terry Smith, and Tommy Tomihara. Now presenting the referee in charge of this bout, working in this is 69th world title bout, Mills Lane. All right, fans, here we go with the long-awaited showdown for the WBC Middleweight Championship of the World, scheduled for 12 rounds of boxing. Introducing to you first the challenger on my right, fighting out of the blue corner. He is wearing gold trunks, fighting out of Freeport, Illinois, as he represents the world-famous Kronk Gym in Detroit. His weight, an even 160 pounds. His record, 27 wins, only 2 losses, with 25 big wins coming by way of knockout. Introducing the former WBO middleweight champion, tonight the challenger, known as the G-Man, Gerald McClellan. And his opponent across the ring. On my left, fighting out of the red corner, is one of the great knockout artists in boxing today. He enters the ring wearing white trunks with red and blue trim, hailing from St. Thomas in the U.S. Virgin Islands. He weighed in at a ready 159 pounds. His outstanding record includes 46 wins, only 1 loss, and a tremendous 43 wins coming by way of knockout. He is the former WBA junior middleweight champion, the current defending WBC middleweight champion of the world, Julian "The Hawk" Jackson. Once again, here's your referee in charge, Mills Lane.
All right, gentlemen, this is for the championship of the world. We've gone through all the instructions one time. I expect a tough, clean fight. Protect yourself at all times. Any questions from the challenger? Any questions from the champion? Let's get it on.
Off the familiar words of referee Mills Lane, we are underway. Round 1 scheduled for 12 for the WBC Middleweight Championship. Julian Jackson in the white trunks with the red and blue trim, really opening himself up to criticism against Thomas Tate 2 fights ago, winning by tough decision. He showed some weaknesses. As a result, other fighters suddenly quite eager, getting in line to take a crack at the hook. Certainly not the case in the past.
Well, I'll tell you, he is a tremendous puncher, which has always scared everybody. I mean, no one wants to fight anyone that's that dangerous, but 2 fighters, Thomas Tate and his last fight against Eddie Hall, a relative unknown, had him in trouble more than once.
Well, McClellan figures to give him trouble early. I mean, but Julian Jackson starts in a hurry, as you can see. There's nice, good.
There it is, a big right hand. McClellan was waiting with the jab and timing him on the way in. Something we spoke about earlier, using that jab, and bam, the right hand over the top.
McClellan can bang, as we said. You got to look for this guy early. Here he is early.
And Jackson is rocked in the opening minute of the fight. Really a catch-22 situation for Jackson. If he wins, people will say McClellan inexperienced, overrated. If Jackson doesn't look good and in fact loses, people might say he's lost it. He's not the same Jackson.
The last exchange, McClellan ran into a good left hook. He himself, for just a minute there, was stumbled and staggered.
That's the best thing that Jackson does, is come back from being hurt. He's hurt, but he comes back. And when he comes back, he's got power. That's very strange, and it's caught McClellan off guard. He didn't expect that kind of power.
Going into tonight's triple header, odds makers gave McClellan the best chance to pull off an upset. Jackson only a 2-1 favorite. Pretty close odds in boxing.
Boy, McClellan's taking chances with leading with the right hand and just about taking every precaution and forgetting about it. Just going right for the bomb.
You mentioned earlier he didn't want to be reckless, and he came out very calm. But here he is. He is attacking Julian Jackson.
And Jackson spinning around.
Jackson's getting nailed, but remember, he comes back.
Gerald McClellan, called by his trainer and manager, Emanuel Stewart, the best all-around fighter he's ever had. In fact, one of the reasons heavyweight Michael Moore left Stewart was because he wanted to devote more time to his prized pupil in the gold trunks.
That lead right hand is going to get him in trouble. Bobby, you can't throw that right hand with that strength and nothing to protect yourself after you've thrown it. He's done it several times now.
And Jackson has a tremendous left hook counter, as we well know. But I'll tell you right now, he's forcing the pace. He's making Jackson do some backing up and some covering up, something he's not accustomed to doing.
Oh, he is having a terrific first round as McClellan, but Jackson's still here. He's weathered it, but McClellan has really put some fear into Jackson.
Final seconds, round one. Terrific round for the challenger, McClellan.
Thank you. Yeah, but you guys coming too slow, man.
Come on, walk the corner. Go to go.
Okay.
I'm okay.
All right, here's that early surprise sneak attack that got Jackson in trouble. Jackson's just trying to get organized. Now watch that right hand, and that's what got him right hand crazy. That right hand put Jackson in trouble. Look how much trouble he's in there. Take a look at the second one, Bobby.
Well, I'll tell you, what McClellan said he was going to do is use the jab, wait, and bang. Over the top, there it was. But as the round progressed, he started getting a little careless, got hit a few shots of his own.
Because he went right hand crazy. He thought, oh boy, if that does it with the right hand, let me just shoot the right hand. That's a big mistake, and I'm sure Emanuel Stewart is pointing that out in the corner. And what happened in the corner of Julian Jackson was his corner told him, now start looking for the counter. Now start looking for that counter. Both of us have said here, the counter to that right hand could just put McClellan on the canvas.
Despite Jackson's impressive record, many are saying he is on the decline in his career, and Gerald McClellan out to prove it. McClellan's best combination, a right hand to the head, left hook to the liver. 17 of his 25 knockouts, according to Emanuel Stewart, in that fashion.
Again, you saw that right hand over the top. And something you have to worry about with punchers. The punches are all big. They're all heavy. If you start missing them, you get tired prematurely. And also, something that has probably plagued Jackson in the past few fights, he's knocked so many people out so easily that he doesn't pay as much attention to defense.
Oh, two good body shots exchanged, one by Jackson, one by McClellan. These guys are not letting any aspect of the punishment game go by. Both of them are punishing the body, both of them going with power punches to the head. This is a whopping middleweight title fight.
And while most people anticipated a shootout, a slugfest, as we are seeing here at the outset, Jackson told us yesterday he thought it would be a more technical fight, that he'll pick his shots, set them up. He says McClellan is not a good boxer, although front fighters are generally good, sound boxers. Jackson told us his right hand, which he injured prior to the February 20th card in Mexico City, is up to par. He's been digging shots, insists he won't hold back. When I mentioned that, McClellan questioned whether the hand was fully healed. Jackson laughed and said, why don't we test it on Gerald's head? But it's been McClellan who has been doing the testing to this point.
Jackson's been a little more effective now using a jab. McClellan's laid off his jab a little bit, and it's gotten to be a little more chest-like right now, but the big bombs are still coming.
Jackson has kicked it into another gear in the second round, and McClellan has been fighting a retreating fight, almost as if he didn't believe his good luck in that first round. First round went to Gerald, got Jackson in trouble, but now all of a sudden it's Jackson in the pursuit and picking him apart slowly, little at a time, good body shots, using his jab effectively. Jackson's fighting very well here.
And now lunging shots by Julian Jackson, but not having any effect on McClellan, who comes back strong, but back comes Jackson with a heavy right.
One thing about Julian Jackson, you can hurt him, but never count him out. Not only can he punch with both hands, but he inside this ring is a vicious, vicious man.
McClellan thinks Jackson is looking ahead to Terry Norris, who is sitting ringside off to our right.
Well, I don't know if either one of these two guys got anything in mind except survival here. And Gerald is looking scared.
Big right hand by Julian Jackson sending McClellan back. Now Jackson beginning to open up more and gain confidence.
This is what you call intimidation, and it's all happening to McClellan. He's getting intimidated here.
Well, Jackson's completely turned the tables from the first round, but McClellan also still a dangerous fighter.
So round 2 is in the books. Let's go over to Montel Williams. Montel, next up after this one, the WBC Super Lightweight Championship, Chavez versus Terrence Ali. This is round 3 in a most exciting fight.
Julian getting his head of steam up, and I'm sure Emmanuel Stewart said, son, you got to do some fighting or this guy will come right over you. And McClellan's got to get back on track, throw some of those right hands that were landing. He's got to box more, Bobby. He just can't stand in front of him like that.
He came out with a good stiff jab, and now the jab's more of a feeler. He's using it to feel, looking for the right hand. He's got to use a stiff jab to set up that right hand. And now Jackson winging big shots, gaining confidence as the round goes on.
Jackson's hands are very heavy, and when they land, even though it's off to the side of the head, it hurts, and he's feeling it now. That's what's getting him intimidated.
A solid right uppercut by Julian Jackson. And Jackson beginning to answer back after a rugged first round. McClellan said he is not scared going in. Many people often are when they're facing Julian Jackson. He says, my tools are better. I punch as hard as Jackson does. I'm faster and I'm stronger.
He seems to be a little quicker when he wants to be with that jab. His right hand seems to almost be an equal, but his left hook doesn't, except to the body.
McClellan 27-2, 25 knockouts, his 2 defeats early in the career. Decisions to Dennis Milton and Ralph Ward back-to-back in '89. Meanwhile, Julian Jackson 46-1, 43 knockouts, 2-time world champion.
Oh, look out! What a right hand by Julian Jackson. That's that counter that he was measuring him for, and it landed. You can't just flick an idle jab out there and not expect Julian to come over, and he did.
I haven't seen McClellan in a lot of fights where he's gotten hit hard, and I was always wondering just how good is his chin, and right now it doesn't seem to be too bad.
McClellan hanging in there.
Yeah, Bobby, he seems very impressed, however, by the power of Julian Jackson.
Jackson with explosive knockout power, particularly with the right hand and the left hook. We just saw the right, and so did McClellan. That right missed, and a countering left. Also a grazing blow by McClellan. Now lunging rights and uppercuts by Jackson.
I think it's something that McClellan has to do with that left hand. He has to counter because Julian Jackson right now is just keying off McClellan's right hand. And if it's a one-handed fight, it's going to be Jackson all the way.
Unintentional butt. Come on, let's go.
Unintentional butt is what, and Julian's cut. Unintentional butt, and Julian is cut.
Julian Jackson complaining. There's a big left hand by McClellan. And now McClellan looking to measure Jackson off.
Sometimes those butts get you a little bit dizzy. I wonder if that happened to Julian. He just seemed to stop fighting after that butt and got hit by 2 hard punches by
another big right hand right on the button.
Gerald McClellan landing with the heavy right. Jackson slips as the bell sounds. No knockdown.
Interesting round. Julian Jackson was having his way. All of a sudden he gets butted. He quits fighting. He gets hit twice and makes it an even round.
It's too long. Keep firing him now, okay? Keep letting him go. Dig that left hook more. Man is getting tired now, but you're letting him get away with too many shots.
What the hell are they doing?
Come on, man.
Let's take a look at that butt. It's on the bridge of the nose. It's not that bad. Let's take a look at it and see if we can see it well. There it is. Not bad. I don't see if that's a bad butt, Bob.
No, it's really an accidental, but it didn't look like a bad one. But there is a cut from it, so it has to be noted.
And I wonder if it stunned him because he just kind of stopped fighting. It wasn't the same intensity when he came back, and Gerald was able to land 2 or 3 good shots and even up the round. I mean, this is kind of an even fight right now, folks.
There's blood streaking down the bridge of the nose of Julian Jackson, the result of that unintentional headbutt by Gerald McClellan in the third round. We enter round 4.
That cut will never be a factor. At the location it's at, he can bleed all at once. It'll never stop a fight there.
And you know, sometimes blood ignites the killer instinct in a fighter, and McClellan's fighting much better from the time the butt happened to now.
Yeah, he's like he got a new life once he saw that blood come.
Julian Jackson's lone defeat, 1986, against Mike McCallum for the WBA Junior Middleweight Title, a second-round knockout.
See, there's something you'll see. He leaps in with that big hook. McClellan ducks, and that's where the heads clash.
Yep.
One step back. Come on. One step back.
Has not been much mauling and brawling here. They've just been punching for 3 rounds. This is the first time any sign of a little bit of a rest coming for both fighters grabbing each other.
McClellan extremely quick on the defense.
Julian just looks bothered. He looks like he's blinking from that eye. Oh, nice body shot, but right at the break.
And Mills Lane admonishing Gerald McClellan.
That doesn't stop it from hurting.
Well, I'll tell you, it takes a certain amount of extra energy, too, to keep moving like McClellan is bouncing. That starts to take its toll on your legs as the fight goes on. Jackson's still walking slow, methodical, conserving energy.
Julian Jackson trying to get his composure here and turn things around in his favor.
Ooh, nice body shot.
Body shot by Julian Jackson.
Get that glove off of his face. Come on, man. Get the glove off. Come on.
Ooh.
Right on the bridge of the nose, right where the cut is.
Right on the butt.
McClellan continues to land effectively with the right.
The right hand that Julian Jackson's aiming at the body to could take its toll in 3 or 4 rounds and really debilitate Gerald McClellan.
Julian's doing his homework to the body. No doubt about that. He may be sacrificing a round, but he's really putting in some shots.
Step back. Come on.
McClellan burst into the national spotlight back in '87 by winning the ABF 156-pound title after soundly defeating future Olympian Roy Jones Jr. at the '88 Golden Glove semifinals. He was disappointed, though, he was not chosen to compete on the Olympic team.
Something else I think that you'll see McClellan doing a little bit when they separate. He's bopping around. He's trying to measure Jackson and time him with that right hand on the way in to double the impact of the punch. But it's a dangerous thing to do with Julian Jackson.
Yeah, because you can get met by a punch, and you're on the seat of the pants when that happens. Although I must say, McClellan, ever since the butt, has fought with more confidence, like he figures, hey, I can get into this thing, I can win this thing. Good round for Gerald McClellan.
You got your flow now. You got your flow to move, you do.
Oh, hit him up. The bucket. To my leg.
Relax. Hold on. Okay. Looking good, baby. Looking good, Julian. You got your flow now, okay? Settling.
All right. It was a 1-point deduction for the butt.
What, on us?
No. What he said? Took a 1 point from him for the butt. Come on, you just got to get a little more aggressive.
Yeah.
Come on.
Don't stand in front of him. You stand in front of him. Don't wait on him.
You're only hitting one.
Come on.
Right hand at the side. You're not getting checked. Try to punch.
Mills Lane just informed us that there's a 1-point deduction for that butt, even if it was unintentional. 1 point off McClellan from back in the third round.
And in a close fight like this, Bobby, that is a big penalty.
I think it's a bad rule, I really do. And you know, it only seems to be that if the butt causes a cut, if they would have just banged heads and he would have swelled his eyes shut, nobody would say a word.
Yeah, but those are the WBC rules that he said, regardless of whose fault it was. I mean, it was Gerald's fault. There was a cut, there was a butt, and but you know, that neutralized the round because McClellan had taken that round, so you take a point away from him and you got an even round. I mean, this is a very even fight.
Wild miss by Gerald McClellan and a left hand, a short crisp left by Julian Jackson that connected.
Again, you'll see him dig that right hand to the body, and McClellan comes back with a left hook of his own.
Jackson being frustrated by 25-year-old Gerald McClellan. Little wink of the eye by McClellan as he eluded a punch. Right now, very difficult to catch is Gerald McClellan. Quite elusive.
Low blow by Julian Jackson. Low.
That was a big, heavy shot down south.
Another one. And McClellan needs a breather.
How much time do you want? Time.
Mills Lane says, as much time as you want.
How much time do you want?
I felt that.
Yeah, and it was 2 in a row. It wasn't just one. And so now, all of a sudden, no matter how much time to give him.
That was the second time. Next time, it's going to cost you a point, okay?
Mills Lane says that's the second time. One more, and we take a point. So a point did not come off, but boy, the effect of 2 good, hard-body shots, Bobby. You can't come back so soon from that.
You know, many people talk about the cup and the protector, which is what it's actually called, an athletic protector, but the power and the force that you get hit down low there, very sensitive area.
And he needs all the strength he can get and all the fluidity and reflex, and that takes your legs out from under you. Ooh, nice shot by Julian.
As he goes upstairs, no chance of south of there.
Julian got a winner right in.
Down goes Jackson. A left hook by Gerald McClellan almost sent him through the ropes.
7.
He is in serious trouble. His legs are not there. This fight could very well be over right this minute.
And there's a minute left to go.
Can McClellan finish him off? He's down again.
2, 3, 4, 5.
He's not going to make this, Bobby. He's not going to make this. Julian Jackson doesn't know where it's over.
Mills Lane has stopped the fight. And Gerald McClellan has upset Julian Jackson, and he is the new WBC Middleweight Champion.
After that first knockdown, you could see he was totally out. He got up just on reflexes, and it was just academic after that. He could not have overcome it in a minute some odd left.
His head was not clear, and his legs were not under him, and that is the sign of when it's just about done.
And Bobby, it was a lightning-like 3-blow combination. And just when you thought Julian was starting to turn things around, Bob comes this, what we said before, explosive punches, Bobby. You don't know when it's going to end either way. You really didn't know how this was going to end, but Julian, who had been showing signs of getting hurt in other fights, finally had his night of being the victim.
Well, again, we mentioned that his defense hadn't been what it should be, that many times because he's such a tremendous knockout puncher that he didn't pay as much attention, and here it cost him dearly.
So Gerald McClellan goes to 28-2 with 26 knockouts. The 25-year-old out of Freeport, Illinois, who trains with the Kroc team in Detroit, is the new WBC Middleweight Champion. Julian Jackson looking to make his 5th title defense with only his 2nd loss in 48 fights.
Well, let's follow the course and demise of Julian Jackson. As first, let's pick it up from the low blow, and you can see it was a legitimate low blow, and you can see the damage of it. Look at that. I mean, that's way below the lettering, and down goes McClellan saying, I just can't continue. This gives him time to recuperate, but it looked like he was weakened when he got up, giving Julian a lot of energy to think he's going to put it out. Now let's watch what happens.
Well, here you come again.
Right.
Straight right hand down the pipe, and it was Ferdy, a lead right hand. Finishing it off with the left hand, and down is Jackson.
Just what he's been trying to land, the right hand landed just like he wanted it. And here's the second one, and by this time it was academic because Julian was gone. That's it. Right there is the end of that.
Again, his legs weren't under him, and his head wasn't clear, and you're not going to respond.
His eyes couldn't focus. He was just gone. Mills Lane did the right thing, stopping the fight. After that first knockdown, it was all over as academic, but I think he caught him by surprise with the right hand he'd been trying to land all night long, and he landed and followed up with the left really, really well. So a big surprise, but not quite so surprising because in this middleweight fight, we expected an explosion, and we got an explosion.
So the power and speed of Gerald McClellan doing in Julian Jackson. Jackson, a 2-1 favorite coming in. It was the closest odds of all 3 fights on our boxing triple header. And Gerald McClellan, normally a very business-minded, serious young man, particularly when he met with us and with the press throughout the last couple of days, but with reason to finally let out with a smile. So we're ready to get the official word from our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time. 2 minutes, 9 seconds in round number 5. The referee in charge, Mills Lane, stops the contest. The winner by way of technical knockout and the new WBC Middleweight Champion of the world, the D-Man, Gerald McClellan.
God bless you, man. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, have a hand of recognition for a great sport and a great effort to a great champion, Julian the Hawk Jackson.
Julian, they want you in here to interview. I got Buddy. Excuse me. Yes. Don's here.
Well, here at the Thomas Mack Center in Las Vegas, Nevada, we are set for post-fight reaction. Let's go up to the fight doctor, Ferdy Pacheco, in the ring.
All right. With a exuberant champion, did you expect that quick finish after those 2 low blows? It looked like you were weakened.
Well, he weakened me with a whole bunch of shots. Julian's real strong. I tipped my hat to him. And I worked too hard, ran too many miles, made too many sacrifices. He had to kill me to keep that belt.
All right, Julian Jackson, you're experiencing what 43 guys experienced from you. Were you surprised that right hand puts you in so much trouble?
Yeah, I was surprised, Gerald McClellan, he showed a lot. I knew I had him, by experience, I knew I had him. And he just caught me with a good punch.
Did the headbutt seem to take anything out of you? It looked like you stopped fighting there for a moment and Gerald came right on.
Yeah, I got a good butt, and it affected me. And it sort of messed with my eyes a bit.
Emmanuel Stewart, were you concerned at all when they took a point away from you? It was a very close fight.
No, I didn't know the fight wasn't going to limit. I knew that.
What about points at all? And let's take a look at replays as we stand here with Don King and Emmanuel Stewart and the 2 fighters. Let's take a look at the right hand shot to Julian so he can see. This is the first knockdown. There's the right hand. Now this one misses. Now the next is perfect, right there. Now I don't know how you got up from that, Julian.
Well, hey man, that's Jackson, and I'm made of steel, man.
Well, all right, this is the second one, and that right hand was all it needed.
Well, Julian punched very hard. I got a tremendous headache. I'm gonna go back to the room, maybe sleep 2 or 3 days. That was a good fight, Julian.
Hey, good fight.
Put him, man.
All right, 2 super athletes competing at the top level. It was an explosion, Don. This was one of the great middleweight fights I've seen in a long time.
It certainly was, Ferdy. This is what we promised the public, and this is what we give the public. Guaranteed customer satisfaction. And what Tony Cox and I are planning to do and continue to do is to bring the best in boxing to the viewing public.
One of the things that comes straight to my mind, I'd like to see these 2 guys go again. I didn't know who was winning that fight. Would these 2 guys go again?
Yes, they will. I'm going to let the champion now has an optional fight, and then you're going to come right back at Julian and give him another opportunity, and that's where we're going from there. The greatest middleweight fight that could be made was made right here today on King Vision SET.
Well, that certainly was one of the most exciting fights of this year thus far. So we go back to Steve Albert at ringside.
All right, Ferdy. McClellan was wondering before the fight if Jackson might be looking ahead to Terry